What you doing? I'm your Otakutainment, the AC Source. This is Otakutainment Reviews for Weekly Shonen Jump, issue 18 of 2025. Getting in the groove of it, getting everything good and ready to go. Yeah. So, if you are joining me live right this second, you can hop in the chat, get me to talk about whichever thing you want me to first. I have an order that's whatever I prefer the least up to what I like the best. But I can talk about whatever. And if you're watching in the future, be sure to join next week live so you can hop in and chat and give me your recommendations or just talk about whatever in this manga related whatevers. But like I said, I'll be starting with my least favorite of the week, which is actually a surprise. It's Blue Box. Yeah. Number 190, No Such Thing as Fate. Here's the thing. I'm trying to be like not biased. I'm trying to be like, okay, focus on each chapter by itself. But like you can't do that with these series because they all link up to each other. They're all pretty short for chapters. So it's hard to take them by themselves and not judge them based off of what's happening overall. But I can't help it with this one because it's I get what it's doing, but I don't care about what it's doing. So, it is showing an alternate timeline of if Taiki chose basketball, got to spend that time as children with Chinatsu, and then eventually in high school went into drama. It's just a really quick show of that. And then, like, that's pretty much it. I don't really care about it. It's like a what if, but not an interesting what if. It's like, okay, things would have been different, sure. I don't know. That was it, pretty much. It does seem like it sparks a sense of like renewed determination. Taiki, maybe not even renewed, just helps spark the determination that's already there. Just seeing Chinatsu playing basketball, which they're winning, I guess. I mean, yeah, they're winning. But there's just not much else to it. It's just like, okay, cool, you're a little more pumped now. What's the point? But yeah, that's it. So I'm not crazy about the Blue Box chapter this week. And I actually have to say, well, hang on, let me look through this. There's really not many chapters I just really didn't like. This might be the only chapter I really just didn't care for. So we'll move on to Shinobi Undercover, chapter 27, Oi's birthday. This one, like, not really much to it either. But I don't know, at least it fits into like the rom-com type it's supposed to be going along with, / Shinobi, whatever. So, and it's kind of funny. Yorika somehow got a bad gift with the right reasonings. The gift being an inner tube to give to Oi for the birthday present. And, like, yeah, it makes sense. And 2 out of the 4 people, it's half and half split, but like, that's such a bad gift. And also, like, no, okay, that worked. And it's like, that was so good. And it's like, okay. But then Yorika, for some reason, also bought one little extra thing, 2, and it ends up getting that to Oi, which is like a sunflower keychain, and gets just such a lackluster reaction. And I get it. I understand this. So I've given someone flowers before, and they also have given me this kind of reaction. And I let the person know every time I give them something else. Yeah. So Yorika's not. She's horrified by Oi's reaction, and Oi's still just like, I'm sure it'll grow on me. It's like, damn. At least the flowers I gave just died, and then I just keep giving more every year for some reason. But yeah, there's that. And then, like, they done with that, or they're leaving, and then the Oi's driver or caretaker, whoever, I forget the person's name, is like, hey, Yorika, why don't you come over for some cake? We got too much for 2 people. And it's like, okay. And that was the chapter. Like, not much happened. It was more just the humor of it that I got, and then, like, the real feeling of, like, I've been there. I know exactly what it's like. Anyways, so yeah, that's it. Let's move on to Me and Robocode, chapter 227. I actually realized this week the humorous ones are much lower than normal, which is a shame, because I normally like them. Um, so, in this one, JDP needs lyrics from Roboco, who of course hasn't even started them yet. So Roboco goes to a cafe called Kiss 13 to write them, getting that like cafe vibe, really try to concentrate, get inspired and stuff like that. But keeps getting distracted by people talking because somehow, even though Roboco thought nobody would be there, that at least Roboco knew, turns out second year and friends are there talking about a mixer they had that didn't go great, but they still enjoyed it enough. And as they keep talking, they realize the 4 other people in the mixer may have been ghosts. So it was like, oh, okay. And then the next distraction is Malchus and a date. And then most of the distraction comes from Roboco just really wanting to see who the date is, trying to resist. And then by the time Roboco gets the nerve to actually look over, they're gone. Really quick. I don't know. For a cafe, people are really in and out. Or maybe a lot more time is passing. And while all this is happening, Roboco is writing things that are kind of supposed to be like the lyrics, but then they're weird and just don't make any sense. But apparently it doesn't matter because somehow JDP also comes and ends up being happy with the weird lyrics Roboco like, trying to make him seem poetic. And then they end up calling the song Kiss 13 because that's the name of the cafe. So yeah, things worked out. It was like kind of humorous, kind of like, oh, but not the just straight up funny stuff I usually get from me and Roboco. And the next, also the other gag manga, Super Psychic Policeman Chojo. I feel like I should like this one more because it involves curry. Kind of. Chojo ends up becoming the manager for Mr. Guy's second restaurant and starts off doing well as a boss. All the employees like him. Lily even works for Chojo. But after one 4-star review, Chojo starts getting super micromanagey, wanting everything to seem perfect, and which drives all the employees, including Lily, crazy. So much so that Lily leads a revolt and everyone quits. So Chojo's having to do everything himself, and it's like handling it, except for no one's coming. But we don't realize that till the end because eventually Lily and Ippongi come back. Wait, is that who it is? Yeah. Yeah, so those two come to see how Chojo's doing. Seems fine. Everything's working out. Chojo has psychic powers, have been working on the perfect dish, all this stuff. So it's time for food critic to come. That one being Hamikichi or K9. Reviews and takes one bite and is like, nah. Because can tell Chojo's exhausted just from trying to do all this. Forgot to put any actual heart in it. For not really setting a place or setting a mood for everyone to enjoy the curry. And then that's when we realize, oh, the place is doing bad. And then K9 actually nags Chojo about, oh, you're also not supposed to be doing this because you're a police. So then there's that. So like, yeah, not really much funny stuff in this one either. Yeah, gag ones aren't doing it for me. The other series do have some humorous stuff in it, but the ones who are just straight up gag ones, not pulling their weight this week. At least what I feel. Next up, another Star of Beethoven, number 8, Visitor. This one doesn't have much going on for it either, especially not the main story. There's more after, but at first all that really happens is a friend of Yasuo's from the old school named Yamano comes by, learns Yasuo is changing schools. He's like, oh, that sucks, pretty much leaves, and then Yasuo is like, oh, wait, wasn't there a composition you wanted me to play? And then that's it for the main story. Maybe that's not the main story. Maybe that is just a distraction. Because then we cut to Marsha and who we learn the name of, Lexi, the two people investigating something, most likely Beethoven. And they're raiding places, ordering food to those places are getting raided. A little bit of humor there that gets me. And then eventually they see a social media post from Japan about Beethoven playing in public with, of course, Yasuo. And then I say, oh, so that's our next place. That's where we're going to go. And then there's like lore of Marsha's, I guess, telling Lexi for some reason. I'm pretty sure they both know. I don't know. But there apparently is a ring that can revive the dead. It was originally in Beethoven's possession, but then when Beethoven died, the ring got passed around until eventually someone's kid who eventually moved to Japan ended up with it probably, and then maybe that is the person who raised Beethoven. I don't know. It stops there, but more mystery, and that's the thing keeping this manga actually interesting. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts though. Okay, moving on to Kill Blue, page 95, Out of Your League. Another one, I just don't feel like much is happening yet. Like, there's nothing bad with it. It's just like, okay, it's doing something. So, first off, Sheen has realized Ogami and Norin's getting married. Okay, sure. Faints, passes out. But then the main thing focuses on a rumor that, which I guess isn't a rumor, it's true. Can rumor be true? Is it still rumor if it, I don't know. Ogami is trying to take, or become club president, take it away from Chisato. So they have a competition. The first challenge is to make an outfit for Norin, whoever's his cutest. Ogami makes like some kind of kid outfit from, I think they said the 70s or something. Which makes sense because Ogami's probably thinking like own kid, way or things from kids when he was a kid the first time. Yeah. And so it makes sense. The cute thing is like, oh, you're a cute little kid. Oh, look at that. Because you gotta remember, Ogami's old person. These are just kind of cute little kids. And then Chisato makes like a princessy dress, and that one wins. But I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be cutest, and this one wasn't really a cute outfit. I don't really think Ogami's was that cute, but when it's like who's his cutest, I guess like I don't know. Chisato's wasn't cute. It could be seen as like beautiful, pretty, elegant, but Ogami was definitely going for like the cute little kid kind of feel, which it was. And it reminds you, oh yeah, Ogami does think of Norin as a cute little kid, because that's what it is. Or at least in this outfit, cute, I don't know, whatever. And then that's pretty much it. My predictions for this is Ogami will just have to start a club himself. But no, there is a realization at the end. It's like, oh, I can't even become a club president. How am I going to become school president? Something like that. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Now let's move on to Witch Watch. One that, oh yeah, this is the outer page. Okay. This one started off actually kind of funny and whatever, but then it's just like, okay, well, the sappiness kind of took away what's going on. And maybe I'm just not a sappy person. I get it. So, it starts pretty much Morihito, Keigo, Kanshi, Miharu are annoyed with each other, just about whatever, living things. And they end up dividing the living room into their own little territories until Nico and Chami show up. See them acting like this, they're all kind of non-verbal, kind of just like, it seems like it's the only thing they're doing to get on each other's nerves, or when one the other is getting on their nerves. So yeah, they're just acting like bratty kids. Another like kid-focused one. So then Nico casts a spell, which are like, they're nervous about, but they're also being too stubborn to say anything. So lets Nico cast this paint spell that ends up putting walls in between them, but also makes them all sit on the same couch. Don't know the point of that. Which makes it even more awkward because they all want to say something, and now that they can't see each other, it makes it even weirder if they were to say something. But then that stops because Keigo gets a message about Nemu's grandma's cat apparently died. Okay, so that makes Keigo get up and be like, yeah, I got a message, and then everyone jumps into action to make this grandma feel better. So they use that rainbow paint spell to, I don't know, make a rainbow bridge and then Nemu transforms into the cat and crosses it to comfort the grandma. That whole end part was like, okay, that was it. It was like, okay. Was there even any real like, oh yeah, we're all better now? I think it just kind of, I don't remember exactly. It was just like whatever. I don't know. It was like, I kind of wish it just went on with the humor in the first part and didn't try to get nice and sappy towards the end. But yeah, that's it. Now, a surprising one, which you may have noticed hasn't popped up yet until now. Hema 10, actually, a little higher than normal, I think. Because there's really nothing bad about it. And there's one character who really just helps this chapter, really been helping the whole series. So, Iomori takes a week off from cleaning for cram school with Kanai. Yoshino is pretty much just like, oh, we take that week off and now I'm going to take a week for an open festival with my family, so we won't see you till the end of the month, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, okay. Cool. So then we go to the actual cram school. I need to look into what cram school actually is because I just don't get the point of it. It seems like it's in almost every anime, manga, whatever. I don't actually know what it is. Is it just more school? I don't know, I'll look into that on my own time. But the only thing that really makes this humorous and like makes me enjoy it more is Mayu just always there checking in. And it's even pointing out, more, it's like you're checking in, you're not just here to say hi, and Mayu's just there. And you just see Mayu keep popping up. And that's, I don't know, it just amuses me. So the week is over. Iomori and Kanai about to leave, apart from each other. They're just talking about like school stuff and then being crushes and stuff like that to each other. And then Iomori eventually calls Kanai cute. It's like, oh, okay, sure. Which is fine. Almost natural way to do it. Sure. And then Mayu pops up back at being cool and says that the three of them should go see the fireworks together. And he's like, oh, Yushino was already wanting to do that. Okay. A little conflict there. I guess they're just going to go together. It'd be weird. It would be so weird. It's like, oh, I'm going to go be here and then be here. Try to do that whole like double date kind of gag thing. I don't think it will. I don't think I've seen anyone do that again recently in so long. So, yeah, hopefully that's not where that goes because it's not that big of a deal. Now, moving on to Seacraft. Love is a Mystery. A kind of nice chapter, actually. But not much to it like a lot of these have been so far. So apparently Lulu donates money to Kitty Orphanage, or if you look, I think, at the actual subtitles, or I don't know, it says Kitty Orphanage, but if you actually look outside, it does say orphanage. Need better proofreading. So yeah, Lulu's donating money to the orphanage as Miss Cat. And then Sid is there visiting to investigate Miss Cat and the connection to this. But all the kids love Miss Cat, so they're kind of like defensive against Sid at first. But then Sid's like, oh no, I love Miss Cat too. And it's like, oh yeah, name these things about Miss Cat. And of course, Sid would know that because, investigating. Not just because you like, but this is part of the case, kind of. So they accept Sid. They play some hide and seek. Lulu and Sid hide together for some reason. There's some like kind of embarrassing moments for Sid, or like the shy moments where it's like, oh, I can't get too close to Lulu, blah blah blah, because this is Elio's girlfriend. That whole misunderstanding. Then Hasek ends. Turns out one kid had something stolen, and which ended up being another kid trying to be like Miss Cat to get that kid's attention. A little rom-com situation for these little kids. And it's like, yeah, okay. But then it kind of just ends with like Sid, telling either one of the little kids or telling Lulu, I don't remember exactly which now, that I think it was Lulu, that thinks what Miss Cat is doing is for the good of others, but still can't condone stealing. And it's like, oh, okay. And then that's it. Let's just move on to Sakamoto Days. Like, I want to get to the ones I'm really liking. Sakamoto Days. We're not there yet. The ones I'm really liking. This one was just okay. So, Days 207. The new JAA. New Order. So this one is really just quick little snippets, I feel like. First, mainly, Oki's group leaves when Kindaka shows up. They leave. The rest of Sakamoto's group, they also take off. We see guns are already getting handed out. And, like, there's an important, hypocritical thing. It's like, one, they're biometrics for who can shoot, which that seems like a lot of tech to just be handing out to everyone. Also, you can't shoot within 100 meters of JA headquarters, which you're giving people these guns to cause chaos, let them decide who to shoot, but you're like, yeah, but don't make it us. We don't want this to come back on us. We're going to keep ourselves protected. It's like, that's a little bit bullshit, don't you think? A little hypocritical. You want everyone else to go around killing each other, but you don't want to be the ones in danger? Okay, sure. And, okay, then we get to the store. Oe and Lou are okay because of the safe room that Sakamoto put in place, so Sakamoto should have knew about it, but it's still in shock about it. And then at the very end, we see the New Order has gathered together. Some of them seems not fans of each other, already trying to start to fight, a lot of bickering and stuff like that. But they're like, hey, cut the shit out. Let's do this. That's the chapter. Not the best one to me, but it was something. Now, on to Embers, chapter 9. Noboru Haitani. The core of the offense. Okay. I don't know why you need... Well... Yeah, I don't think you... For the chapter title, one, it's long. Also, the way it's on this title page, if I didn't look at that second line, I'd be like, why is it... It should have just been the core of the offense. That would have been better, because then when you're reading it, like, oh, it's Haitani's the core of the offense? So yeah, that's what it's about. I know it doesn't make any sense. Let's talk about it a little bit. So their first match is against Iba Seru. With their star player seems to be Gunza Kaneda, who just looks like a big, I don't know, big sounds redundant, like a kingpin looking person, like, yes, the Daredevil character. That is pretty much just a wall of a person that likes going around bumping into people and knock them down, and hates when the opposite happens, because there's a time Kaneda and Haitani bump into each other. I don't know if one bump into one and while the other is standing or whatever. They may have both been walking and bumped into each other. Haitani was reading a notebook from Hikage, still studying up. And then Kaneda just freaks out because Kaneda's the one that actually falls down, even though Kaneda's bigger. And it's like, oh, you think you're bigger than me? Blah, 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 blah. It just freaks out a little bit about that. It's like, cool. Sure. But then, destroys, or I don't know if it destroys, definitely messes up Hikage's notebook. So Haitani's not happy about that, and is now going to be gunning for Kaneda. But then the other part of this, the title page part of this, apparently Haitani's going to be the key to the offense. Don't know why, because we know Haitani's supposed to be more defensive, but I guess we'll see that next chapter. But yeah, I don't know where to go from there. Also, the other big team they're actually wanting to beat, the one that beat them last year, they're kind of watching and paying attention, and the coach is paying attention to one player specifically. We don't know which player that is. Probably Haitani, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's it for the chapter. Okay, I don't know. I feel like I'm just like, yeah, that's it. They're not giving me a whole lot to continue with. But it's okay. We're going to keep on going. A little thirsty. 2. Asteroid Royale, Chapter 47, Match Over. Hey, good, clean title there. Don't gotta get confused like the last series. So, Hibaru's launches just a big attack, seems to get an upper hand, and then they kind of both just start normal, brawling, fighting. And it's like, okay. Then there's a flashback of Kongo telling Shikaba to make Hibaru strong. And then prison Shikaba, after getting knocked down, admits to wanting to stay with Hibaru. And all this is just not making sense. Why is all this happening? Why did everyone split up? They all seem to be close to Hibaru and having these moments. And I just don't get it. It just seems weird that they're doing this. Like, it kind of makes sense because of, Shikaba sticking with Tendo. I don't know. This just doesn't feel like it's making sense to me. As much as it keeps getting explained in flashbacks, it's just like, it just keeps feeling off. And there's too much of winning by friendship but it's like you already kind of have it, and like you keep popping up. I know, like it was revealed how many siblings there were right from the beginning, so we should have known this, and like the family for the most part seemed to get together or get along, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, so then, you know, fight's over, Hibari wins, but then Tendo comes down and is like, you really think we're going to let you leave? And uses the Daybreak Ore, and that's where it ends. I guess big fight with Tendo. Hopefully a lot of other people join in on this fight, because really Hibari's fights aren't really that interesting, I don't think. Yeah, they're just not. Now, let's keep moving on. To Nui's Exorcist. I know I'm surprised at you that it's high up. I maybe should have changed the position. Like, it was an okay one. And I'll get to why. But this is chapter 92, Transfer Student. The new transfer student, Ishu Aramine, yeah, sure, is a spirit that's been watching Gakuru for apparently a long time. I don't know exactly how long. It seems like forever. Maybe it was right around the time Gakuru got powers. Maybe it was before. Maybe it wasn't even a conscious thing. It's just like something that appeared. But apparently the harm has to keep getting bigger. Cool. But then Ishu kidnaps and kind of, well, and then pretty much keeps molesting Gakuro into like a room from Ishu's hollow weapon. Just there to keep Gakuru prisoner, try to convince Gakuru, I guess, to be together, and just talking about that. But Gakuru actually stays serious the whole time. And this is, I think, why the I actually ended up liking this, because there's not that whole shy, like, oh no, stuff going on. So I actually ended up like, oh, okay, this is actually a cool side of Gakuru. I actually like this, because Gakuru gets serious and then actually starts getting mad, and then as that's happening, the like weird thread black egg thing is behind Gakuru, just cracking more. I don't think Gakuru notices, but it seems like Ishu does at the end. So I'm curious where this is gonna go. It actually piqued my interest, and I like this side of Gakuru. More confident, less of the dumb, the typical harem-esque thing you would see from protagonists. I'm so shy. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyways. Keep going. Here's one I am actually surprised is kind of low. Akane-banashi. I think this is when the series actually start that I really like. Pretty decent amount. This is story 152, His Intent. So we finally get to see Shomei Tsurugaku or Rakugo. What did I say? I don't know. Which is a story about like cheapskates trying to do things in dumb ways to save money or whatever. And it's like that kind of stupid trend you would see of people being like, oh, why you brush your teeth like this when you can just go blah blah blah? Because literally there's a point, one of the characters in the story is like, why wave your fan like this when you can just hold it still and then move your head back and forth, blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, cool, it made it in a manga, sure. Or maybe it was already in part of Rakugo and other people took it and do that, I don't know. But the whole point of showing this is because, if you remember last chapter, Shomei's just to walk out onto stage was enough to like capture everyone's attention, and so like Shogei's presence of elegance and stuff like that, and then this complete flip to this like really sudden funny pop, like blah 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 blah, and then blah blah blah, like that kind of thing is what really catches people off guard. And then not even that, I was like, oh, that's going to be. And it's like, oh, the time is just for how fast you can make last, because that's what it is. No. So, Shomei's actual Rogaku style is that of a perfect script. Everything is planned out perfectly. And the stopwatch Akane has is to, like, right on the dot, looking at the actual script. And it's like, oh, yeah, exactly like this. So, it usually goes against like what Rakugo is normally like, because you're supposed to read audience, but it goes to show like Shomei's perfectionist personality, professional take, the expertise on know how Rakugo works to be able to get this script and be great at it. And also kind of why I guess Shomei's not that keen to teach Akane, because seems like two completely different styles. But yeah, that's it. Like, not a whole lot happens, but I mean, I just really like Akane. It's part of the bias popping in. Next up, Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi, Chapter 38, The Fourth Demon Lord, Gorgon Mede. Another time I didn't read the title because it actually starts off with Sakake start the actual fight with Mukuro Jima when Yuta decides to just pop in. It's like, cool, you're here. That's the whole point of this fight, kind of. Glad you could join. But then it cuts to what the title said. Kurogane is fighting the fourth demon lord. Kurogane mainly has like a bell that gives powers. I guess depending on how many times the bell or gong tolls is how strong Kurogane's attack will be. And then the fourth demon lord has like Gorgon powers. So 2 eyes with 2 different powers. One eye turns people to dolls when they're afraid. The other eye, I think how it works is like makes someone live out their fears, relive their fears, something like that. I don't even know if it's the same eye of where I'm pointing at. But at first, Kurogane not afraid of anything, and then kind of lives out a fear I don't even know if it's a fear. I think it's more just a memory Kurogane's sad about, which was like Kurogane's people dying and then wanting to give up being an exorcist, is about to get married, but then the husband-to-be protects Kurogane and dies, and now that, so Kurogane's just okay with a life of solitude now, which I wouldn't have guessed from before, but I guess it makes sense. So then snaps out of that. Then Kurogane ends up beating the demon lord and actually makes the demon look into some kind of reflection. I think it was off of the sword into the demon lord's own eye, which turns him into a doll. So it's kind of mimics the actual whole Medusa kind of thing. But yeah, it's a pretty cool moment, pretty cool fight. I was wanting to see more Sakake's fight, but Kurogane's pretty cool too. Now moving on to the Elusive Samurai, Chapter 197, Going and Coming Back. This is an example of when art and how emotions and everything is portrayed, and how well you can create intensity, because there's really not a lot that happens in it, but it's done so well that I couldn't help but really like it. So Fubuki and Tokiyuki continue fighting as Fubuki bleeds out. They're trying to fight. Tokiyuki realizes can't get too far away or Fubuki will stop the bleeding. Can't get too mid-range, otherwise there's other attacks. So Tokiyuki needs to stay close. But that's the fighting part. That's not the part I care about. What it is we're seeing Fubuki's life while this bleeding out is happening, and there's it's cutting, and you can feel the intensity of it. The art is great for it, and for some reason I'm not wanting to really talk about art too much, even though I should, because it's manga and that's part of what it is. But it's done so well, and the intensity of it, and that rush, you're Fubuki has to end this, so Fubuki's bleeding out, Fubuki could die, and then we're seeing the life flash before her eyes, and then the fighting is finally over. Fubuki collapses, maybe dead. It's hard to tell exactly. If you see at the very end, it seems like Tokiyuki's crying or tearing up, but it's still possible Tokiyuki could save Fubuki's life. We don't know for sure, but also it'd be a lot more dramatic if Fubuki does die. I don't know how fast you bleed out just from cutting, I guess, most of your wrist. I guess it could be pretty bad, especially if you're rushing and causing it to bleed more. So we'll have to see Fubuki's actual fate. Could actually be dead. That makes sense, I guess. People die in this manga, so it's not everyone's just oh, and you're healed by the power of friendship. That's not really a thing as much in the series. So I guess we'll see how it actually goes next chapter. But yeah, it's just the intense art and just the we know what's happening, and just getting there. It was so well done. Now, okay, similar reasons this one also did it, and I think I'd talking about it more. I think I would still like the Elusive Samurai. But Kagurabachi, Chapter 73, Daybreak. Yeah, I think I do like Elusive Samurai a bit more. Okay, so first, this chapter starts with contest winners of like creating NPC sorcerers that can be dispatched coolly by Ichiro. It's like cool. That's a neat contest. You don't normally see. At first, when it popped on, I was like, "Oh, popularity contest or something," and I was like, "I don't know who these are." And it's like, "Oh, it gives a description there." Okay, so there was that. It was cool. That's unique kind of way of doing it. But okay, so the actual story though, still flashback, still in flashback land. It's taking its time. Mainly though, it starts off seeming like Iori's just really proud of Samura. That's really called Samura. Oh, I don't remember Samura's first name. Suriichi? Wait, is that it? Whatever. I'll just say Samura. You know, they both are. Iori's just really proud of Samura. Really just talking about how everyone sees Samura as a hero and all this stuff. And then it's revealed that it was all a lie. So Iori keeps getting bullied. People keep vandalizing their home. And Iori's been there the whole time just cleaning up graffiti, moving trash, doing all this stuff. Because it doesn't want people hating Samura. Because if Samura finds out people are hating, then that will cause Samura to leave again. And Iori's wanting to stop that. Arya lost her mother. However, Samura does eventually find out. And Iori was right. Because leaves Iori with the aunt and goes off again, and then I think it goes on from there. Like the bad things happen. We might get another flashback chapter next. It might be done because it seems like it caught up with Chihiro, seeing young Chihiro, and kind of hinting at that disaster. So yeah, and it was just the intensity of like that reveal. I think is what really got me. Of like, oh, Iori's actually been doing this the whole time, trying to protect Samura's feelings as best as a kid can do. And it's like, oh, like the desperateness of it, and it's like how hard. It's like, oh, that's a shame. Still, like kind of like Elusive Samurai better. The intensity of that, but this was nice too. It's just like, oh, that poor kid. Maybe we'll still see another flashback of the seal being put on Iori the first time. So maybe there's that. Also meeting the aunt. Because I think I did wonder before, why didn't the aunt just pop up at some other point? But now it is. So there's that. Oh, only 2 series left. Okay. Cool. Next. That leaves Ichi the Witch or One Piece. Which one will be number 1? Well, number 2 is Ichi the Witch. Even though I really like it, the chaos of One Piece. So, Ichi the Witch, 28th Hunt, Unknown Emotions. I had so much hope for this, and like the siblings, Richiya and Gakuroku, we get to see them interacting as siblings, and they're talking, bickering. It's like I remember memories and stuff like that. And everything seems to be going well until Richiya brings up a 10th year anniversary of Bakugami coming and helping and saving everyone. And I really thought there was a point of Richiya like realizing something was up and being over it and also being skeptical, but nope, still seems to be under this spell, this delusion. Yeah. So of course this is part of the reason Gokuraku is so mad or upset or sad, because Richiya is putting the anniversary of Bakugami's arrival over their mother's death, which is Gokuraku ends up telling Ichi. And apparently, this is because Bakugami doesn't make people happy. It steals their sadness, steals their emotions, pretty much makes it so they can't feel whatever they're truly supposed to be feeling. And, like, in a way, it doesn't seem that bad. And I'm still, like, I think Bakugami may be getting manipulated still. It's hard to tell. But, yeah, Gokuraku is just, like, telling Ichi now, I need you to be the one to acquire Bakugami. I think anyone really acquiring it at this point. Gokuraku doesn't care. I'm still rooting for Kamugi. Oh, there's a funny point earlier in the chapter. Like, Richiya is asking Gokuraku and Ichi are friends. They're like, are we friends? What are friends actually? And they're going, well, did you share a meal together? You share dreams and blah. And they're like, yeah, kind of. And Ichi's like, I don't really have friends, but I did make a new family. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, Discars. Discars is like me, blah, 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 blah. Like a long descriptor of Discars. And then she's like, and then well, there's also Kamugi. And Kamugi's nice. And then that was it. I was like, oh, Poor Kamui. I mean, you're nice. But, oh, poor Kamui. So there's that. But yeah, so Ichi agrees to do whatever Gakuroku needs. And Ichi's like, normally I do things for myself, and I'm just doing this whole magic thing because I'm curious about it. But Ichi's like, this is the first time I'm like, yeah, I want to do something for you. It's like, oh, cool. They're like that. Also a bonding moment. So, okay. And then that was a chapter. It's like, a lot of humor in it. I know I only really covered the sibling part of it. But it's like kind of sad. It's like, oh, okay. Gakuroku just wants Risha to actually truly be able to feel. Which, yeah, good siblings, I guess. But it's also like that weird thing of like, yeah, but you also want your sibling to be sad. It's like, I don't know. I think Bakugomi's being manipulated, but still, either way, something needs to happen, I guess. Now, on to the number one spot, the number one piece, chapter 1. Dang, I always mess up saying the number because it's a larger number. Chapter 1144, chapter 1144, a time for warriors, and oh, what a time it is. It is chaos. There's so much stuff going on in this chapter. First off, it starts off kind of tame. Frankie is shown like this ancient laboratory. I think it said 4 millennium, something like that. Is that what it was? A long time, even before the big void time. And who happens to already be at this laboratory but Lilith and Bonnie, who apparently got lost but found this place. Cool. And like things seem to be cool until like a giant lightning storm shows up because one of the kids is scared of lightning. It's like, okay. Then we cut. That's all we're seeing of them for this chapter. I like that Frankie's going on this whole kind of like journey, but away from everyone else. But also, it's not really about Frankie that much. I wanted to be more about Usopp. Everyone wanted to be more about Usopp. And, like, we're hardly seeing any. Usopp's just been off drinking, which makes sense. Having a good old time with the rest of the Giants. But hasn't been doing anything yet. So, yeah, there's that. So, while that's happening, everyone else is starting to scramble. The drinking is over. Dory and Brogy are stuck in the bathroom from all this. Because apparently they're lightweights. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, they were, all fighting, and probably didn't drink as much and drink all carefree as much as all these other giants here who've been living it up. So yeah, everyone's scrambling to fight all these other fears, like the Draugr, which Burke jokes about, oh, is that a giant me? What else was there? A dragon with a name that I'm forgetting. All kinds of stuff is popping up. So they're trying to fight and do all this, and they're like, oh, well, we need to find the bad group. And it's like, well, no, the Straw Hats need to stay. You're the guest. All the Giants will take care of it. And then Calm's like, no, I'm going to be pirate too. And leads the rest of the Straw Hats that are around at least off into a ship to go off. And I guess find whoever the bad guys are. And bad guys are still off just having a picnic. They know what's happening around them, and they're just, oh, yeah, how nice. So, I don't know what's up with them. They're just waiting for the kids to come by. I guess they're going to find them, but if they're really as strong as they are, Luffy and Zoro are off with Loki and those other groups of the giants. But we didn't see them in this chapter. But that's what they're off doing, so they're not even paying attention to what's going on around the rest of it. So, there's that. Then there's also Saul and Robin are failing still to stop the kids. Saul tries to put up shields to like block them so the kids walk in the shields and that stops them. But then one kid will walk in front of the other and then the kids themselves will get hurt by the thorns. So then the next step is to just stop them one at a time, starting from the back, tie up one kid, stop that one from moving. They were going to do all of them, I guess. It might take a long time until they walk into the fire. But then a Fenrir shows up. And that's the end of that. It doesn't show how it escalates beyond that. Because, like I said, there's a lot of things going, a lot of things to cover in a short chapter. And then we see that finally Dory and Brogy are out of the bathroom. They had to throw up a little bit. And then see someone's like, well, why are you bother sobering up in the first place? Because now Scopper has joined everyone, ready for the charge. And then that's where that ends. Woo! There's so much going on. It's so cool. It's One Piece. We all know it's like cool stuff is happening, and everyone's just been excited for this Elbaf arc, and the action's going to be starting to take off. Not even like the main action, it's just like the prelim action. Because I guess people probably don't really care that much until Luffy comes. I usually like how the other side fights more. So I'm more interested in this. I know whenever Luffy gets into it, then that's when I'm like, it's okay, fine. But yeah, that's it for this week's Weekly Shonen Jump, issue 18. Yeah, not a whole lot bad. Some that were just, but then the ones that take off really take off. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens next week, because I feel like a lot more things are just going to keep happening. And hope, I don't know, my main hope, I guess, is just for the gag mangas to be funnier again. It was kind of a little disappointment on my part, really. Just like, oh, they're not hitting like they usually do. And some of the series I'm not usually that crazy about actually moved up a bit for this week. So it's just a surprising week overall, I guess. But yeah, so that's going to be it for this Otakutainment Reviews. If you want to join in on the streams live, so you can hop in the chat, have me talk about whichever series and whatever, be sure to join future streams on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch. Feel free to talk about that. If you're in the future, though, you can leave comments, social media, email, Discord, all those places. You can find me all over the place. I'll leave descriptions, easy to find. But yeah, thanks to anyone that did join and watching this now or in the future. Also, I want to thank my Ko-fi and Patreon supporters, Fixlab and Julio Vasquez. If you also want to help support me on that, you don't have to. I appreciate either way. You get stuff like the notes and all that stuff. Sometimes you get the notes earlier than when I post the actual videos or these streams, just so you can follow along with what I'm talking about, if I remember to do that. And other stuff, story drafts, all that fun stuff, and bloopers, But like I said, you don't have to, just a little bonus stuff. But I appreciate it either way, whether you do or not, as long as you're watching and enjoying all this stuff. But that is it for this week. I have been your Otakutainer, the AC Stories. Until next time, thank you so much again, and bye.